quish. Ladies and gentlemen, respected teachers, and my dear friends, today, quish, I stand before you to talk about two of the most powerful virtues that can transform not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us: forgiveness and gratitude. Relinquish. These two qualities, though simple in words, hold the strength to heal wounds. Quish. Rebuild relationships and bring peace to our hearts. Relinquish. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many think it is a sign of weakness. Relinquish. That to forgive means to let someone escape accountability. But in reality, forgiveness is not about excusing the wrong done to us. It is about freeing ourselves from the heavy chains of anger, hatred, relinquish, and bitterness. When we choose not to forgive, we imprison ourselves in the past. Relinquish. We allow the hurt to live rent-free in our hearts, poisoning our peace. Relinquish. But when we forgive, we liberate ourselves. Forgiveness is not a gift to others. It is, first and foremost, a gift to ourselves. Think of it. When someone wrongs us, we may not be able to change what they did. Relinquish. But we can change how we respond. Instead of holding on to resentment, we can rise above it with forgiveness. It does not mean forgetting. Relinquish. It means choosing peace over pain, compassion over revenge. Great leaders, saints, relinquish. And even ordinary people who have endured unimaginable suffering have shown us that forgiveness is the path to inner freedom. Nelson Mandela once said, relinquish. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. That is why forgiveness is so vital. And then comes gratitude. Relinquish. When gratitude is the ability to see the blessings hidden in plain sight. Relinquish. It is the art of shifting our focus from what is lacking to what is already present in abundance. In our busy lives, we often take simple things for granted. The air we breathe, relinquish. The food we eat, the love of our families, the kindness of strangers, Gratitude is about pausing and saying, thank you for all of it. Science has proven what wisdom traditions have always taught us. Grateful people are happier, healthier, and more resilient. Gratitude rewires the brain, reduces stress, and deepens relationships. It creates a ripple effect when we express gratitude. Not only do we uplift ourselves, but we also uplift those around us. Relinquish. Imagine a world where people constantly appreciated each other. Where, instead of criticism and negativity, gratitude was the language we spoke. Relinquish. Would it not be a more beautiful place? Relinquish. But what makes forgiveness and gratitude truly powerful is when they come together, Quish. When we forgive, we make space in our hearts. When we are grateful, relinquish. We fill that space with light. Forgiveness cleanses us of bitterness, relinquish. Gratitude nourishes us with joy. Together, they allow us to live fully, Quish, to love freely, and to move forward with strength. So, my dear friends, Quish, let us not underestimate these virtues, relinquish. Let us practice forgiving those who wronged us, not because they deserve it, Quish, but because we deserve peace. And let us practice gratitude every day, relinquish. Not only for the big things, but also for the little blessings that sustain us, relinquish. For in forgiveness, we find freedom, and in gratitude, we find fulfillment, Quish. Forgiveness releases inner peace because it allows the human heart to let go of heavy emotional baggage that often weighs us down and prevents us from moving forward in life, Quish. When someone wrongs us, the natural reaction is to feel anger, hurt, or betrayal, Quish. When these feelings can linger for days, months, and sometimes even years, Quish, they silently eat away at our happiness and cloud our vision of the present, relinquish. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a heavy stone wherever we go. It tires us, Quish. It drains us, and it distracts us from the beauty that life still offers, Quish. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks those chains and removes the burden, relinquish, allowing us to experience a sense of calmness and serenity that cannot be found in vengeance or bitterness. Relinquish. It is not about forgetting the wrong or denying the pain, Quish, but about releasing ourselves from the emotional prison of resentment so that we can live with clarity and balance. Relinquish. When we forgive, we give ourselves permission to heal. Relinquish. Many people misunderstand forgiveness as a favor we do for others, Quish, when in truth it is a gift we give to ourselves, Quish. Anger and resentment may seem powerful, but in reality, Quish, they weaken us from within by consuming our peace of mind, Quish. Think of sleepless nights spent replaying an insult, relinquish, or the way our chest tightens when we think of someone who hurt us, Quish. These reactions are natural, but if left unchecked, Quish, they grow into emotional wounds that fester and prevent us from enjoying life, Quish. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was right, Quish, but it means we refuse to let the hurt control us any longer, relinquish. This choice creates inner peace because it shifts power back into our own hands, relinquish. We are no longer victims of our emotions, but the masters of them, relinquish. Forgiveness is also deeply connected with mental and physical well-being. Studies in psychology have shown that people who forgive experience lower stress, better immune function, and even improved heart health, relinquish. This is because forgiveness reduces toxic emotions that trigger stress responses in the body. When we hold grudges, our bodies produce stress hormones like cortisol, which over time can harm our health. On the other hand, forgiveness encourages feelings of compassion and empathy, which stimulate hormones like oxytocin that promote calmness and connection. Thus, forgiveness is not only a spiritual act, but also a practical step toward healthier living. It nurtures the mind, soothes the body, and strengthens the spirit, creating harmony within ourselves that no material possession can match, relinquish. Another profound aspect of forgiveness is its ability to repair relationships and restore trust, While forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation, it does create space for understanding and dialogue, Many conflicts persist in families, friendships, and communities because people refuse to let go of past hurts, This refusal breeds division and estrangement, But when one person takes the courageous step to forgive, it often inspires the other to soften and reflect, Forgiveness has the power to rebuild bridges where walls once stood, relinquish. It opens the possibility of reconnecting with others in a healthier and more compassionate way, Even if reconciliation is not possible, Forgiveness ensures that we are not burdened with bitterness, and we can move forward without hatred poisoning our hearts, Forgiveness also releases inner peace by teaching us humility and compassion, When we forgive others, we acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes, and that none of us are perfect, We realize that just as we wish to be forgiven for our shortcomings, others too deserve the same grace. This perspective makes us more compassionate, not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. Many times, people struggle with self-forgiveness, punishing themselves for past mistakes and living in guilt, But just as we offer forgiveness to others, we must also forgive ourselves, so that we can learn, grow, and embrace peace instead of regret, relinquish. Self-forgiveness is equally vital because inner peace cannot flourish in a heart that constantly blames itself, When its deepest form, forgiveness is an act of liberation, relinquish. It liberates us from being chained to the past and from reliving moments of pain, It liberates us from cycles of revenge and negativity. Relinquish. It liberates us from the illusion that holding on to anger somehow protects us. Relinquish. In truth, forgiveness is not about the other person at all. Relinquish. It is about reclaiming our own joy and well-being. When we forgive, the storm inside us settles. Relinquish. And we experience a sense of freedom that cannot be explained, but only felt. This freedom is the essence of inner peace. When a quiet strength that enables us to face life with courage, wisdom, and love. Relinquish. Forgiveness is strength, not weakness. Because it requires an inner power far greater than anger or revenge could ever demand. Relinquish. Many people mistakenly believe that forgiving someone is a sign of submission, a way of letting them escape accountability, relinquish, or even proof that we are too fragile to stand up for ourselves, relinquish. But the truth is the opposite. It takes very little strength to react in anger, to strike back with harsh words, or to carry resentment in our hearts, relinquish. These are the instinctive responses of a wounded spirit. What takes real courage is to quiet that instinct, to rise above it, and to extend grace even when it feels undeserved. Forgiveness demands self-control, relinquish, discipline, and a profound sense of maturity, qualities that weak people do not possess, relinquish. To forgive is to demonstrate mastery over one's emotions, relinquish. And this mastery is the very essence of strength, When we look at history and the lives of great leaders, we see countless examples of forgiveness being a symbol of true strength. Relinquish. Figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King Jr. relinquish, stood in the face of hatred, discrimination, and violence, when yet chose to forgive rather than to fuel the cycle of retaliation, Gandhi taught the world that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, relinquish. And Mandela famously forgave those who kept him imprisoned for decades, relinquish. Because he knew that bitterness would destroy the freedom he had fought for, These leaders were not weak men who accepted injustice silently, relinquish. They were strong individuals who understood that forgiveness is a weapon of peace far more powerful than vengeance. Relinquish. Their strength lay in their ability to forgive and still stand firm for what is right. Relinquish. Proving that forgiveness can coexist with justice. On a personal level, relinquish. Forgiveness shows strength because it demands that we confront our own pain rather than hide from it. It is easy to avoid forgiveness by burying our hurt deep inside or by masking it with anger. But true strength is in facing the wound directly and saying, Yes, I was hurt, Quish, but I will not let this hurt define me. This act requires honesty with oneself and the bravery to let go of emotions that have become familiar and comfortable, Quish. Even if destructive, weakness clings to anger because it feels like protection, Quish. But strength releases it because it knows peace is more valuable, Quish. To forgive is to choose healing over suffering, Quish. And such a choice requires tremendous resilience, Quish. Forgiveness also reflects strength in the way it protects relationships and builds bridges, Quish. When we forgive, we are not excusing the wrong, but demonstrating that our bond, values, Quish, and our sense of humanity are stronger than the mistake that threatened to divide us, Linquish. It requires strength to look someone in the eye after they have hurt us and say, relinquish. I choose to let this go. That moment reveals more power than any form of retaliation ever could, Quish, because it breaks the cycle of hostility. Forgiveness is a sign that love, Linquish, compassion, and unity outweigh pride and ego, relinquish. Weakness cannot accomplish this because weakness is governed by fear, Quish. But strength is guided by courage and love. Psychologically, Quish, forgiveness is a sign of strength because it requires emotional intelligence and self-awareness, Linquish. It challenges us to regulate our anger, to empathize with others, Quish, and to see beyond our own pain. This is not easy, Linquish. It demands discipline of the mind and depth of the heart, Quish. Weakness surrenders to negative emotions, relinquish, but strength wrestles with them and transforms them into understanding. Linquish by forgiving, linquish. We prove to ourselves and to the world that we are capable of rising above instinct and choosing virtue. In doing so, Quish, we not only strengthen ourselves, but also inspire others to practice the same, Quish. Even in spiritual teachings across cultures, Linquish, forgiveness is often described as an act of immense power. In Christianity, Quish, forgiveness is a reflection of divine strength, Quish. In Islam, it is considered an attribute of mercy and nobility, Quish. In Buddhism, it is seen as a release from suffering, Quish. And in Hinduism, it is praised as a quality of the wise, Linquish. While these traditions recognize forgiveness as a mark of greatness, not of weakness, relinquish. To forgive is to rise to a higher level of human existence, Quish. One that is not bound by petty vengeance, but fueled by compassion, Quish. Such a rise can only be achieved by those who are strong in spirit, heart, and mind, Quish. Gratitude builds happiness because it changes the way we perceive life and directs our attention toward the positive aspects that often go unnoticed, Quish. Human beings are naturally inclined to focus on problems, shortcomings, Quish, and challenges, which makes it easy to fall into dissatisfaction, linquish. Gratitude interrupts this cycle by reminding us of what we already have, Quish, what is going well, and what we should cherish. When we practice gratitude, Quish, we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance, Quish. Instead of constantly dwelling on what is missing, linquish, we begin to appreciate the blessings already present, whether big or small, linquish. This shift in perspective is what cultivates happiness, Quish. Because true happiness is rarely found in external possessions or achievements, but in the way we choose to see our lives. Linquish. Gratitude creates a lens that highlights joy, fulfillment, and peace. Quish. Gratitude also builds happiness because it helps us live in the present moment. Linquish. Much of human unhappiness arises from regret about the past or anxiety about the future. Linquish. People replay mistakes, think of lost opportunities, Quish, or worry about what is yet to come. Relinquish. Gratitude anchors us in the now by encouraging us to notice the value of this very moment. Quish. The breath we take, the meal we enjoy, the company of a friend, linquish, or even the quiet of a peaceful morning, all of these become sources of joy when acknowledged with gratitude. Linquish. Instead of waiting for a grand event to bring happiness, Quish, gratitude teaches us to find happiness in everyday experiences. Quish. This ability to embrace the present not only enhances contentment, but also reduces stress and increases resilience. Quish. On a psychological level, Quish, gratitude fosters happiness because it reprograms the brain to recognize positivity. Linquish. Research in neuroscience has shown that regularly practicing gratitude actually alters brain chemistry. Relinquish. When we express gratitude, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin. Linquish. The very neurotransmitters responsible for feelings of happiness and well-being. Relinquish. Over time, this practice rewires our thought patterns, Quish, making us more likely to notice good things instead of dwelling on the negative, Quish. A grateful person, therefore, develops a more optimistic outlook on life, Quish, and optimism is strongly linked with long-term happiness, Quish. The more we practice gratitude, linquish, the more we train our minds to focus on joy instead of despair, linquish, hope instead of fear, and abundance instead of lack, quish. Gratitude builds happiness not only within ourselves, but also in our relationships with others, linquish. When we take the time to say thank you to recognize the efforts of those around us, relinquish, and to show appreciation for their presence, quish. We strengthen the bonds that connect us, quish. People naturally feel valued when they are appreciated, quish. When this creates warmth and trust, strong, relinquish. Healthy relationships are one of the most reliable sources of happiness, quish. And gratitude acts as the glue that binds them together. Whether in families, quish, friendships, or communities, relinquish. Expressing gratitude deepens connections and reduces conflicts, relinquish. Because it shifts focus away from complaints and toward appreciation. By fostering kindness and understanding, quish. Gratitude transforms relationships into sources of lasting joy, relinquish. Another way gratitude contributes to happiness is by reducing negative emotions, such as envy, relinquish, resentment, and frustration. When we are grateful for what we already have, quish, we are less likely to compare ourselves with others or to dwell on what we lack, quish. Gratitude redirects our energy away from dissatisfaction and helps us recognize that contentment lies not in having more, relinquish, but in valuing what we possess, quish. This mindset protects us from the endless cycle of desire and competition, quish, which often robs people of happiness. Gratitude replaces envy with admiration, quish, resentment with compassion, and frustration with acceptance, relinquish, creating a mental environment where happiness can flourish naturally, quish. Gratitude also enhances happiness by giving life meaning and perspective, quish. When we recognize how much we owe to others, the sacrifices of parents, relinquish. The support of friends, relinquish. The opportunities provided by society, we develop a sense of humility and connectedness, quish. We begin to see ourselves as part of a larger network of care and support, quish, which fosters purpose and fulfillment, quish. Happiness is not only about pleasure, but also about meaning, quish. And gratitude provides both. It reminds us that even in difficulties, quish, there are lessons to appreciate and moments to value, quish. This sense of meaning turns even ordinary days into sources of joy, quish, because gratitude finds light even in shadows, relinquish. Gratitude strengthens relationships because it creates a sense of recognition, relinquish, value, and emotional connection between people in any relationship, quish. Whether it is between family members, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, relinquish. When appreciation is the foundation that keeps the bond alive, relinquish. When someone feels that their efforts, presence, or support are acknowledged, relinquish. When they feel seen and respected, quish. This acknowledgement not only uplifts the receiver, but also deepens their affection and trust toward the person expressing gratitude. Without gratitude, relationships often become transactional, mechanical, or taken for granted, leading to distance and misunderstanding. With gratitude, however, relationships are nurtured with warmth, respect, and love, allowing them to thrive even in difficult times. Gratitude strengthens relationships by transforming the way people communicate with each other. Instead of focusing on shortcomings, complaints, or what the other person has failed to do, gratitude draws attention to the positive actions and qualities they bring. A simple thank you for a small gesture or kind word can shift the tone of an entire interaction. For example, when family members express gratitude for one another's efforts, it creates harmony and reduces conflicts. In friendships, showing appreciation for loyalty and companionship builds mutual respect. In professional settings, leaders who thank their teams for contributions build morale and inspire greater commitment. When gratitude shapes communication in such a way that it fosters encouragement rather than criticism, and this greatly enhances the strength of any relationship. On an emotional level, gratitude builds intimacy and trust. When we express gratitude, we reveal our vulnerability by acknowledging that we benefit from the kindness and support of others. This vulnerability opens the door to deeper emotional connection, because it shows humility and sincerity. People are naturally drawn to those who appreciate them, and this strengthens emotional bonds. In romantic relationships, gratitude creates a cycle of giving and receiving that keeps love alive. Partners who thank each other regularly for small acts of care, such as listening, supporting, or even sharing time together, are more likely to sustain their relationship with joy and mutual respect. Gratitude nurtures loyalty and prevents feelings of neglect, which are often the roots of broken relationships. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in conflict resolution, making it a powerful tool for sustaining strong bonds. In moments of disagreement, it is easy to focus only on the hurt or the mistakes made by others. Gratitude, however, reminds us of the positive qualities of the other person and the value they bring to our lives. This perspective softens anger and makes reconciliation possible. For example, during family disputes, remembering and appreciating the love and sacrifices of the other person can prevent the conflict from escalating. In friendships, gratitude allows people to overlook minor flaws and focus instead on the joy of companionship. By highlighting what is worth preserving, gratitude strengthens relationships and prevents them from breaking under the weight of misunderstandings. Gratitude strengthens relationships not only between individuals, but also within larger communities and societies. A culture of appreciation builds unity and cooperation among groups of people. When members of a community express gratitude for one another's contributions, whether through service, kindness, or leadership, they create an atmosphere of respect and belonging. This collective appreciation fosters teamwork, generosity, and mutual support. In workplaces, gratitude encourages collaboration and reduces competition, because people feel valued and motivated to contribute. In communities, it reduces isolation and creates a sense of shared humanity. Gratitude acts as a glue that holds people together, reminding them of the importance of connection and collective growth. Psychologically, gratitude creates positive reinforcement in relationships. When people are appreciated, they are more likely to repeat positive behaviors. A child who is thanked for helping their parents will be motivated to help again. A friend who is appreciated for listening will be more willing to continue offering support. Gratitude reinforces kindness and strengthens the cycle of giving and receiving that is essential to any healthy relationship. Without it, people may feel their efforts are unnoticed, leading to withdrawal or resentment. With it, they feel valued, which inspires them to give more of themselves, creating a continuous flow of mutual care. On a deeper level, gratitude strengthens relationships by reminding us of the sacredness of human connection. Life is fragile and unpredictable, and the people we love may not always be with us. When we practice gratitude, we cherish moments, words, when in gestures that might otherwise slip by unnoticed. We recognize the gift of companionship, the comfort of support, and the power of shared experiences. This recognition not only makes relationships stronger, but also more meaningful. When gratitude turns ordinary interactions into moments of significance, and it turns people into treasures rather than conveniences. Together, Forgiveness and gratitude heal and uplift because they complement each other in ways that create balance. Relinquish. Peace and resilience in human life. Forgiveness clears the heart of bitterness. Relinquish. While gratitude fills it with joy. One removes the weight of negative emotions. Relinquish. And the other replaces that emptiness with light and positivity. Relinquish. Forgiveness without gratitude may leave a person neutral, but not fully content. Relinquish. And gratitude without forgiveness may feel shallow if the heart is still burdened by resentment. Relinquish. When practiced together, however, they create a complete transformation. Relinquish. Allowing individuals to move forward with peace and fulfillment. Relinquish. Forgiveness heals by addressing the pain of the past. Relinquish. It acknowledges that harm was done, but refuses to let the harm control the present. Relinquish. Carrying grudges, resentment, or hatred not only damages mental well-being, but also poisons relationships and steals energy from more meaningful pursuits. Forgiveness works as a cleansing process. Relinquish. Washing away these toxic emotions so that the individual can feel lighter and freer. Relinquish. Gratitude then comes in as the uplifting force that shifts focus from what went wrong to what is still right. It changes the inner narrative from one of loss to one of abundance. Relinquish. Ensuring that the healing process does not stop at letting go, but extends into growth and renewal. The combination of forgiveness and gratitude also uplifts by changing the way people relate to one another. In a world where misunderstandings, mistakes, and conflicts are inevitable. Relinquish. Relationships often suffer because people either hold grudges or fail to appreciate each other. Forgiveness allows wounds in relationships to close, preventing them from festering into deeper divisions. Relinquish. Gratitude strengthens those same bonds by highlighting the value and importance of the other person. Relinquish. When someone forgives, they say, relinquish. When I release the hurt, and when they express gratitude, they say, I value your presence. Together, these attitudes make relationships stronger, more resilient, and more capable of withstanding challenges. On a psychological level, the healing and uplifting power of forgiveness and gratitude is profound. Both have been linked with lower stress, improved mood, and greater overall well-being. Forgiveness reduces anger, depression, and anxiety by removing the burden of negative emotions, while gratitude increases happiness, optimism, relinquish, when satisfaction by focusing on positive experiences, relinquish. The balance of these two creates emotional stability, relinquish, which helps individuals navigate life with resilience. Relinquish. People who practice forgiveness and gratitude are less likely to dwell on setbacks and more likely to recover from adversity, because they know how to let go of pain and find reasons to continue smiling. In spiritual and philosophical traditions, forgiveness and gratitude are often presented as twin virtues that elevate human character. Forgiveness is seen as a divine quality reflecting compassion and mercy, while gratitude is viewed as a sacred acknowledgement of blessings received. Together, they lift the human spirit beyond ego and self-centeredness. Forgiveness softens the heart, making it humble and open, while gratitude fills that openness with joy and reverence. A person who embodies both is not easily shaken by life's difficulties, because they carry within themselves the strength to release pain and the wisdom to appreciate beauty. Such a combination leads to an uplifted spirit that inspires not only the individual, but also those around them. Forgiveness and gratitude also work together to create perspective. When someone is hurt, relinquish. It is easy to become consumed by the wrong and forget the bigger picture. Forgiveness widens that perspective by reminding us that mistakes are part of the human condition, and everyone is capable of error, Gratitude, then, expands it further by reminding us of the good that still exists, even alongside the pain, This broader perspective prevents despair and cultivates compassion. For example, someone who forgives a friend's betrayal and also remembers the many years of kindness, share and more find healing more quickly and maintain balance in their emotions. The blend of these virtues ensures that life is not defined by moments of pain alone, but by a larger tapestry of experiences that include love, kindness, and blessings. On a communal level, forgiveness and gratitude heal and uplift entire societies. Communities often fracture because of conflicts, prejudices, or historical wounds. Forgiveness provides the path to reconciliation by letting go of collective resentment. While gratitude fosters unity by celebrating shared values and contributions. In workplaces, schools, or nations, these virtues have the power to reduce hostility and encourage cooperation. A society where people forgive past wrongs and express gratitude for one another's efforts is a society that grows stronger. Quish. More compassionate and more harmonious. Linquish. A way to live fully is to embrace forgiveness and gratitude as daily practices that shape the way we think, quish, feel, and interact with the world. Relinquish. Living fully does not simply mean existing or passing through time. Relinquish. It means engaging deeply with life, finding meaning in every experience, quish, and cultivating a state of inner peace regardless of circumstances. Relinquish. Forgiveness and gratitude are two pathways that allow us to do this. Relinquish. Because they free us from the weight of the past and open our eyes to the blessings of the present. Quish. By combining them, we learn to release pain while also celebrating joy. Relinquish. Creating a balance that leads to a complete and fulfilling life. Relinquish. Forgiveness as part of living fully allows us to move beyond the limitations imposed by resentment and anger. Relinquish. When someone carries grudges, they are never truly present. Relinquish. Because part of their mind and heart is trapped in the memory of hurt. Relinquish. That constant replaying of pain drains energy that could otherwise be invested in growth. Quish. Relationships and happiness. Living fully requires presence. Quish. And forgiveness restores that presence by cutting the ties to old wounds. Relinquish. It does not mean pretending that harm never occurred. Relinquish. It means choosing not to let that harm dictate our future. By forgiving, relinquish, we reclaim our freedom and our ability to fully engage with life as it unfolds. Quish. Unburdened by bitterness. Gratitude, on the other hand, quish, deepens the fullness of life by turning ordinary experiences into extraordinary ones. Quish. It teaches us to see the beauty in small details, such as the warmth of sunlight. Relinquish. The laughter of loved ones or the comfort of a meal. Relinquish. People often chase grand achievements or possessions in search of fulfillment. Relinquish. Only to feel empty when they arrive at their goals. Relinquish. Gratitude changes this cycle by showing that fullness is not found in accumulation, but in appreciation. Quish. When we are grateful, we notice that life already contains abundance. Quish. And this awareness fills our hearts with joy. Quish. Living fully is not about having everything. Quish. But about seeing everything we have as enough. Together, relinquish. Forgiveness and gratitude create a lifestyle that is rich in peace and meaning. Quish. Forgiveness clears away the shadows of pain. Relinquish. And gratitude fills the cleared space with light. Without forgiveness, quish, the heart may remain too heavy to experience joy. Without gratitude, quish, the heart may remain too empty to feel contentment. When both are practiced, quish, life becomes fuller because it is no longer weighed down by negativity nor starved by ingratitude. Relinquish. The balance of these virtues leads to a way of living where challenges are faced with resilience and blessings are severed with awareness. Relinquish. Living fully through forgiveness and gratitude also enhances relationships, which are at the core of human experience. No life feels complete in isolation. Relinquish. Connection with others brings depth and richness to our existence. Relinquish. Forgiveness ensures that relationships are not destroyed by mistakes and misunderstandings. While gratitude ensures that they are nurtured and celebrated. Relinquish. A person who forgives is able to maintain harmony. And a person who is grateful is able to strengthen bonds. Together, relinquish. These qualities create relationships filled with trust, warmth, and shared happiness, making life not just full, but deeply connected. This way of living also nurtures mental and physical health. Relinquish. Which are essential components of a full life. Forgiveness reduces stress and anxiety by releasing toxic emotions. Relinquish. While gratitude boosts happiness and optimism by focusing on positives. People who forgive and practice gratitude regularly report better sleep. Relinquish. Stronger immune systems and greater overall well-being. They are less likely to be consumed by depression or anger. Relinquish. And more likely to face difficulties with hope. Relinquish. Living fully is not just about achievements or experiences. It is also about how healthy, peaceful, and joyful we feel inside. Relinquish. When these virtues directly contribute to that state of being. Philosophically and spiritually, relinquish. Forgiveness and gratitude are often described as gateways to enlightenment or wisdom. They elevate the human spirit beyond selfishness, pride, and material desires. Forgiveness teaches humility by reminding us of our shared imperfection. While gratitude teaches reverence by reminding us of the countless gifts we receive. Living fully requires this elevation of spirit. Relinquish. Because true fulfillment comes not only from what we do, but from who we become. A life filled with forgiveness and gratitude is a life lived in alignment with higher values. And this alignment brings meaning to every moment. On a broader scale, relinquish. Living fully through these virtues influences the world around us. Individuals who practice forgiveness and gratitude spread peace, kindness, and positivity, uplifting families, communities, and societies. Their presence creates ripples of harmony that extend far beyond themselves. Living fully, therefore, relinquish, is not just a personal achievement, but also a contribution to the collective well-being of humanity. It transforms existence from mere survival into a legacy of love, compassion, relinquish, and joy.